And incidentally, I brought Kevin with me in case you guys were pressuring me about Diddy parties.
Hey, everybody, I am the Kevin McLoughlin, and this is the Riffs and
Rhythms podcast, and I'm Paul Robertson.
What's up, Paul?
Not much. It's been a minute, it feels like.
Exactly a minute. No, longer. That's a colloquialism, I think.
I don't know. Whatever.
How have you been? I've got a lot going on.
There's been a whole lot been going on. Again, everyone says that we don't actually cross paths very often in between shows, and it's not because we don't like each other. Just we're very busy people.
Paul lives a respectable lifestyle and hangs out in respected circles of people.
That's right.
And that's why I never see him during the week.
That's right. This is my slum night. No, all kidding aside, though, yeah, we've got a lot going on. Again, we just got a lot of things going on, and I know, I see some things that you post on social media that I want to talk about, or you're going to talk about. Well, hell, we just had a hurricane also hit Florida too, and that's
we did
a whole lot going on here. So, but here we are. It's October, kind of crazy. October 8th.
I know.
How did we get into pumpkin spice latte season?
Seems like we just started October.
Yeah. So real quick here. So what's been going on in your world here?
Oh, hold on. Welcome to year 2 of the Riffs and Rhythms podcast.
That's right. 54. Studio 54.
Yeah. It's 54th episode?
It is. I guess that's right. You corrected me last week or last time.
Well, we had 52 A and B.
That's right. Okay. We can call this one 53.
53 and 3/4.
There you go. Right.
Like in Harry Potter.
Yes. You go run to the train station.
Okay.
Excellent.
So now that we've got that sorted out.
Yep. So yes, year 2. We are in season 2 of the podcast there. We've made it through for a full year. I can't even say it. I haven't even really started drinking yet either, too.
He's thinking about fur.
The burr.
I'm not even going to go there.
But seriously, though, speaking of episodes making it this far here, now the B3 Podcast Network, we've got our show here has made it a full year. Drums and Rums has made it in its 4.5 years. Brad Brock's show is Join Our Podcast Network. He's also 4 or 5+ years. So it's great. Again, it's all about dedication, and we're going to talk to our guest here. You want to talk about dedication? Can't wait to talk to our guys, but podcast takes a lot of effort. Just like being musicians, if you want to be good, you got to put the time in. It's a lot of effort. But most podcasts don't even survive past 8-7 episodes.
You've been talking about this for a long time.
I know. People think it's easy. I don't know if you just guys watched before the cameras were rolling, all the running around we were doing, connecting cables and things like that. Trust me, if you're not familiar with that. But anyway,
running things through the cable stretcher.
Episode 53.
Do you need ice in that?
No, man, come on.
He's the rumfluencer.
This is straight barrel Florida rum here. Knox and Dunn. Yes, Knox and Dunn are title sponsor of the podcast festival.
The Riffs and Rhythms Music Festival. It's actually the Knox and Dunn Riffs and Rhythms Music Festival.
So cheers. So Florida rum. So what do you got going on here? I think our guests are actually ready to.
We should talk to our guests. We got plenty of time.
We got a lot of time here, right? Yeah.
These guys are sitting here going, "Why did you invite us here?" You're not even including us.
Sitting here watching you guys run around, plugging cables in. Headphones not working.
So you guys have heard of the Ramones? They all have the same last name. This band, everybody's got the same first name. How you doing, y'all?
How you doing, man? Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. So we got Kevin, and Paul, and Devin.
Yes, right. 3 Kevins, a Devin, and a Paul.
There you go.
Hey, all right.
You got to change your name so it rhymes with Evan.
Evan. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Evan. Olivan.
Pevin. Yeah, and I guess not Paul and all that. So, yeah, guys, thanks for coming on the show here.
Thanks for having us, and congratulations on year 2, man.
Thank you.
Without a doubt.
Thank you. So it's definitely been. So let me just give you a little, little backstory, or how I met, our guests.
Yeah, who let these guys in anyway?
I know that.
Don't let anybody in here.
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Well, you guys pulled up and were like, exactly where are we going? It's a tow truck company, cars busted out front, and again, the lovely parts of
the Riffs and Rhythms complex.
Yeah, we got a complex, all right. But yeah, so I met Kevin.
This Kevin.
Yes, Kevin Fruge on the Drums and Rum. So he is now a two-time or double dipper, whatever one that's
Something like that. Multiple offender.
There you go, right.
Repeat offender.
That's right. So he's been on the Drums and Rums podcast. He's now been on the Riffs and Rhythms. You've been on a live stream we were talking about before the show when I was doing live streams, a couple of years ago. And we met through Renee
Rivera.
That's right.
She shreds.
Also a guest on.
That's right. Yeah. So he's Renee's been on the show there. Andrew Morris Band, so alums. This is the cool part. If I always say about podcasting for me is guest connecting guests, and it's a huge all these connections and things. Oh, talk to this guy, and like we just had the episode of Drums and Rums with Jim McCourt. He with Dez and Russ. They came on AMOV. I know you guys are big. Pals with those guys.
Absolutely.
All these
guys.
circles. And you guys performed with them,
have.
a lot of times as well. And then I've met, obviously, through the show, the Angels of War, which we'll talk a little bit about the band, and then met Kevin also, and all the guys there. So it's been a minute, actually, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to remember. When was it that I was first on Drums and Rums?
It was early, I think, 2021.
It was January. I think it was January or February of either 21 or 22. I don't remember, but it's been a while.
Right. Yeah. So, and now it's crazy when you think back. I felt really I was going to say is thank Facebook, because Facebook reminds you of all the good and bad things. And I was looking at a Facebook memory. It said 5 years ago, and there's a picture of me with my feet propped up in this space, waiting for everyone to tune up their guitars. And I said, 5 years ago, I still have these pairs of shoes. I need to go get new shoes.
You need a better life if the
Thank you.
Facebook, your memories are about your shoes.
Come on. No, I recognize the picture, the things. Yes, it was all about my shoes.
All right, this guy has a family life and everything. Like, tell us about your kids, or your shoes.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, we're just going back memory lane here. So, but yeah, have you seen Angels of War?
I have seen their logo on show posters, but never seen the band.
Okay, so.
Oh, you got to fix that.
Yeah.
You got to come see
I
us.
love going to see bands, but I'm usually performing myself.
I get
it's
it.
Difficult.
We're the same way. There's a lot of times I'd like to go see and support friends of mine when I'm actually playing as well.
So these moments of hanging out with musicians are rare for all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great to get
they
to know
are.
you guys.
And also being in Jupiter, our kind of music, let's call it hard rock metal, it's really like West Palm, Fort Lauderdale South.
Yes.
And then not even Stewart, I'd say Melbourne North.
Farther north.
So for us to go see our friends every weekend, it can't happen, and that part sucks.
Yeah.
So and another project too, which we want to talk about. You guys got a couple irons in the fire going on.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do, man.
Yeah. And I think Kevin, you were also in another band that plays. Yeah. Talk about.
So I am playing with 3 bands now. I'm playing with Angels of War. Kevin and I are in another band together called Dirty Faced Kid, which we'll give you a little more about that in a little bit. And then I'm also filling in for the Electric Rubber Band, which is a local band here in Jupiter. And they, like hard rock, classic rock, party rock type of band, play places like the Square Grouper, Pirates Cove, Sailor's Return, that type of thing. And I got into that band. I don't know if I'm really in that band, so to speak, but I'm their drummer got sick about a year ago. He was diagnosed with leukemia, and he's been undergoing chemotherapy. He underwent about 5 rounds of chemo, I believe. And so he's starting to make his comeback, but it's been about a year. I've been playing with that band regularly, and he's on his way back. His name's Charlie Lugo. So prayers and thoughts for Charlie. But
Shout out to Charlie.
Yeah.
he's our hero because he is a fighter. He's a drummer, and he's an excellent musician, a great singer. And he's been coming to the shows and setting up hand percussion and auxiliary percussion stuff and playing along. Then every so often I'll jump out and play that, and he'll jump on the drum kit.
Okay.
So he's starting to make his comeback.
Cool.
And hopefully we'll see before long he'll be able to do shows on his own again.
That's great.
Yeah. So Dirty Faced Kid came about because Angels of War is really getting pigeonholed into a few select venues because of our material.
Right.
I got you. Okay.
We're not background music. We're a full-blown metal show. And when I say metal, Maiden, Priest, Sabbath,
Classic
Dio,
metal. Classic
Ozzy,
metal. Right.
and it's loud and it's in their face. So if, there's any older folks in the crowd, they're not going to dig it. I don't consider us old, sorry. And so we decided to start up Dirty Face Kid, where we do sprinkle metal in there. But like there's Eddie Money in there, Def Leppard. What else we got, Kev?
Jet,
Okay.
Jet,
Okay.
Offspring.
Offspring.
Okay.
Yes.
And now all these venues are opening up for us and booking us.
So with Dirty Face Kid, there's really nothing off the table.
Okay.
We're
No
not
rules.
we're not considering ourselves necessarily a metal band,
right.
We're not.
but we'll play some metal. But
Yeah.
we're anything's on the table.
Right.
We can do some pop, dance. I even want to do some funk. I'd love
okay.
to do some funk.
Okay.
I don't know how that would happen, but I would love to try that.
Metal funk would be cool.
Yes, I love it.
For sure.
Yeah, my three favorite styles of music are metal, funk, and big band swing.
Oh, geez.
But my heart and soul is in Angels of War.
Absolutely, same
Love
here.
Dirty Face Kid.
Yep.
And I love when we get out and do our thing and it shows.
Right.
But Angels, when I leave there, it's all left on the table.
Yep.
I leave out of there with nothing.
Yeah, and the thing about Dirty Face Kid is that our former Angels of War guitarist Joe Suma is the lead guitarist for Dirty Face Kid.
Gotcha.
So it's also an opportunity for us to still play.
Stay
with
connected.
Joe,
Yeah.
because he's still our brother, still
Yeah.
our friend. So now he's our bandmate again.
Right.
And then our bass player is Jerry Lee from Maiden Steel, the Iron Maiden tribute band. So we've got a pretty good lineup there, and it's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to even more.
Okay.
guys.
Yeah. So let's take a walk back here. Again.
Sure.
So Kevin, how'd you get into music, right?
Boy, man, I grew up with my grandmother on the organ, and every Sunday we'd go to her house, and then she bought kids' books, and then she put this, what do you call that, like a layover on the keys, color-coded. So blue, red, yellow, and I started playing at 4. And then at 6, on a whim for Hanukkah, I got this plastic guitar, just started singing and strumming, brought it to school, and out in the hallway, I don't know what prompted me to do this, I started strumming and singing, and the hallway filled up in first grade. Then
Wait, let me ask here, Kevin. So you at first grade you got groupies going on here?
I did.
Oh,
I
nice.
did.
Did
And
it fill up
backstage
with
was wild.
Did it fill up with listeners or security?
That's it.
Guidance counselors are coming. There you go. Detention.
And then by the time I was 10, being a Jewish guy, my brother and his friends started having bar mitzvahs. And they would call me up, and it was always Joy to the World, Three Dog Night, and If I Had a Hammer by Paul somebody. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. I don't know. I learned it at summer
I
camp.
can look it up real quick.
Yeah, so I had those 2 songs, and that was it. Just kept going and going and going. Then in high school, growing up in L.A., surfing took over. So no music. Weed and surf was my life. And then when I got out of high school, started taking a liking to it. Skipped to when I was like 26, I got my first house. And I've always loved the drums. Nowhere to put them, didn't have a place. And I built an Iron Maiden Peace of Mind sort of replica pasty kit. And I learned all of Peace of Mind. And I would drum, and then I started drumming and singing. And then at 30 years old, on a whim, I bought a new Ovation 12-string. Started strumming and singing, and family and friends are telling me, oh, it's great. Whatever. I did that for 15, 20 years. And then X Factor TV show came along in 2013, and I decided to try out. Made it through round 1.
Oh yeah.
Made it through round 2. I got in top 100 in the country.
Damn. Nice.
Think the number.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it was out of 15,000. I said, oh, my God. I guess it's not just my mom telling me I could sing, That doesn't work, or my kids. And I put out a video on Craigslist looking for a band, and I got inundated. I got all these offers, and joined a band, and just sort of stepping up bands because they were, little projects. They weren't as serious as I take it now. And then eventually, Joe Suma came to one of my shows on a band that I had called Simon Says, and he goes, "Hey, I saw your Dio video. It was some Dio song I put out, Don't Talk to Strangers." And it was coincidentally my last show with Simon Says. And he goes, "Hey, we'd love to have you join us." And I went, and I was hooked.
Yeah, and at the time, we had just parted ways with our first singer. So we needed someone.
Yeah.
And it was so seamless.
Yeah.
So
My
easy and
guess
seamless.
This was 2019.
That would have been
Just before COVID, right?
2020. Because
2020.
we started in 2019, and our first singer left. We parted ways with him at the beginning of 2020. So our first show with you was July 4th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
Remember that?
Cool, yeah.
It was July 4th, 2020 at Elmo's.
I remember that.
Yeah. That was our first show with Kevin.
Cool.
So Kevin, at some point that you went from California to Florida, I think you skipped over. It looks like.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So in 2004 in L.A., really even back then, man, I saw the writing on the wall, what was going on with L.A. Trash pickup problems, street not getting fixed, multi-families living in 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. I just saw it. It just wasn't the 80s, 90s L.A. that I grew up with.
Right.
And being from Detroit, we would always vacation in Florida. We were in Northridge in 1994 in the Northridge earthquake.
Wow.
House was gone. Business was gone. My folks' house was gone. It was a family business. So they moved here in Jupiter maybe a year later. So I'd come out a few times a year. And after about 10 years of doing that, I said, yeah, this is the life I want for me, the water. And I moved out to Jupiter Farms. And to get 3,000 square feet and an acre in L.A. is, it's unheard of,
right.
And, so live in Jupiter Farms, absolutely love it. We can make as much noise as we want for as long as we want. And we do.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So the
Good crazy.
Yeah.
so you saw a lot of that again, the California music scene, like which
Loved
specific,
it.
yeah.
Loved it. My
yeah.
buddy's grandparents owned this little Italian restaurant in the parking lot of Long Beach Arena. And they would rent out for all the pre-shows, every show that came through there. So we would work the parking lot every show and then go see the show, wait for the first song to start. Dude, we get tickets for $10 and we missed the first show. So I seen Maiden multiple times, Van Halen umpteen times, Priest, Rat, Warren, David Lee Roth, the Motley, the list goes on and on. How many shows I've seen out of L.A. And I like to keep those memories in my head. I haven't seen Motley since 2007 or 8 because I see what's going on online.
Right.
A lot of people came back this last weekend saying how great it was, and I'm stoked for that. I like to keep the memory of really what they were for that band in particular.
So Kevin and Kevin, right? You both. That's a new podcast, right? Kevin and Kevin. As singers, right? We talked about this, in a recent episode where, singers don't take, as they get older, it's harder to kind of keep, especially, singers during that time period of that higher range, in the 80s music, that they can't hit those notes anymore. And to your point, it's tough for me to go and pay money to go see Motley Crue. As much as it'd be great to see them, but I know that's not the Motley Crue, to your point, I think, is what you remember.
Yeah.
But as singers, though, trying to, I think it's a good point here is your voices. How do you keep your voices, right?
I can answer this. You sing within your range.
Yeah.
You sing within your range and do it properly, you can sing for as long as you live. What happened in the 80s is that singers had to have that high sound. A lot of them, it's not within their range. You burn your voice out using it wrong.
Yeah. You know what? It's even more than that. It's all about the warm-ups and taking care of your voice. Like at concerts, I don't scream anymore. I whistle. In general, when I talk, I generally talk softly. The night before a show, actually a few nights before the show, Kev knows this, I won't rehearse a few nights before a show. And then on the way to the show, I'm doing my lip trolls for my warm-ups. I chew gum all night, a certain kind of sugar-free gum. I think it's called Dentine Pure. So it's sugar-free all night. Water all night. Pardon me. And I've watched almost every vocal training video out there on YouTube. And if you take one thing away from what they say and put it all together, that's really been my regimen.
And the other thing is Kev likes to stay away from air conditioning ducts right above him.
So
that dries him
air
out.
Conditioning, I'm done in 15 minutes. No voice in 15 minutes. It's
Wow.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough in Florida, especially. Yeah.
It's really tough. Some of the venues we play, especially with the material Angels of War does, it's very demanding physically on every single person in the band. And even more so, as a singer, I mean, you know the kind of stuff we play, it's really, really demanding on the voice. And if he's right under an air conditioning duct, there are times he drops out and I have to be listening because I will actually fill in and sing the next verse or start a verse until he can take over again.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. Right. Is that right? You, Kevin, is performing a lot of the vocals, backing vocals, and supporting, etc.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's amazing because anytime I drop out, Kev's right there like, dude, I use a tablet for the words. I would say my tablet is in use really 25% of the time. I don't want to step on Joe's leads, so I got on there, like 30 count. I really mostly identify with the drummer because I drummed, and I'm not a lead guitarist. I'm a fair rhythm guitarist, but as far as leads, I have no idea what they're doing. But drums, I know every note, I know every beat, I know everything that he's doing. And if a verse is coming up and he's about to come up on a fill, I always go, Kev! And he comes right in that verse and picks it up for me.
Yeah, as a drummer, it's strange. I don't know if, as a drummer yourself, you feel this responsibility, but I almost feel that it's my responsibility to know the music better than anyone on the stage. That means lyrics. That means I'm listening for lead lines, for anything. Because typically, if somebody loses their spot, who are they looking at? They look at me. So when I give cues, count them in, tell them where we are. If he looks at me and we're not at a place, I'm playing like this, then I'm doing this. So he sees my head signals that'll help him when he loses his spot, because it does happen.
Yeah.
And I'll never hang my singer out to dry. If he comes in too early, I'm going with him, and everyone else needs to follow.
So you guys got a really great, I don't say relationship, but again, the synergy or, kind of on the stage there, right?
We're brothers, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
So I'm not saying this. So this is, I'm just curious though, where's a certain, all right, never mind. I'm not going to ask this question because it's kind of stupid now that I think about it. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think is to your point, is a lot of non-drummers don't realize they're the conductors, right?
Right.
And a lot of them are in music and is the band leaders and, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
back to your big swing, right? And some of the old school 40s bands and things like that, right?
And I always try and feature Kev somehow, some way to let people know he's that voice you're hearing. He always knows when to come over me or come under me.
Yeah.
And I'll go back there and,
right
really
there,
try and feature him.
There are times when Kevin will jump from his melody to a high harmony part that I'm supposed to be singing, and then I'll recognize that and I'll drop in and do the melody then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that we're not stepping on each other and fighting for those positions.
Do you have the same issue with air conditioners?
No, not so much.
So if the air conditioner's on the front of the stage, you should move the drums to the front for you, right?
Yeah.
Kevin's
I'm
view.
down.
Right, there you go.
Stand on the riser.
I always have that wind machine, that fan blowing on me because it's hot back there.
And the guys know if I'm in the center, those wind machines got to go left and right away from me.
Right.
Yeah. And it's funny, not funny, but something, I have this theory. I've only ever sang lead, just singing in my living room for the 20 years or whatever. I don't know that lead singers know how to harmonize. Now, harmony singers that have been brought up behind Mariah Carey and came up to the forefront, of course, But if you've only ever lead sang, let's call it, I don't know that you know how to harmonize. You've never done it.
Yeah, they are completely different animals.
They are. And Kev teaches me. He's all, no, you're going to go, here, and I'm going to go here, and you're going to go here. And I'm like, oh, cool. And, we work on just
Absolutely.
harmonies. No music sometimes. We'll just sit there and work on our harmonies for a Dawkins song, In My Dreams.
Oh, that one, big vocals.
Oh, yeah.
And and I actually went and recorded 4 separate parts and assigned the parts to the guys in the band. Not that they sang them when they were the way they were assigned, but it was a starting point. Basically, I said, this is melody, this is high harmony, this is low harmony, this is higher harmony, and we listened to, tried to figure out who could hit those comfortably and stay in their range so that we could actually blend when we sing those, when we would sing that. That's a tough song to do because if you hit those harmonies right, man, it's a home run. But if you mess them up and they sound bad, it's a black eye.
Yeah.
Because and we've had both. We've had both, believe me.
There's a song where we've put off because we haven't nailed it yet. Outfield Your Love.
Oh, okay.
There's crazy harmonies in there. Yeah, lead I got, but there's so many backup harmonizing vocals in there. We haven't brought it out yet.
Yeah, we just haven't had the opportunity to work it yet. Because what I want to do with that, I just want to get a keyboard and voices, nothing else. Just work out those harmonies, just with a keyboard and vocals.
That song's in the key E, and that lip vocal is high.
Yeah.
And the lead vocal is the highest part.
Yeah,
it's the
it's
highest
the
part in
soprano
there.
part.
All the harmonies come below that. So it's an interesting song because you don't have above and below. You just have below harmonies on that one.
So I think maybe a good segue here to speaking of harmonies and singing and so forth is we have maybe a song. You guys want to review a song here?
Absolutely.
Love to.
Okay, we ready to do this?
Yeah, so let me, while you're opening up the machine
Yep,
here, let me give a little background to this. I've got an artist development team that I'm working with out of the UK. And I had kind of had this idea going in the back of my head, and she goes to me, she's like, you need to do a cover, and it needs to be like completely unlikely, out of left field, something that no one would ever think for you to do.
Is it Guar?
No, that's actually more that's closer to my field than
Kevin
these guys
has an unhealthy obsession and
I do.
fascination with gore. Yeah.
I do. No, I never played them. I don't even know if I've ever really heard a full song through. They're just so awesome. I always throw Guar in there every show.
I wouldn't want to be in Guar. Those outfits have to be hot. And the lead singer must constantly trip over himself.
Dangerous.
Lotus Arungus or whatever his name is.
But
So I guess it's not Guar. I guess it's not Guar. It's
not Guar. So I had this idea percolating in the back of my head for years of doing this song. And when Katie says, it's got to be something unlikely, I'm like, okay, I've got it. And it was way harder than I expected it to be.
So let's to preface this up without giving it away just yet, what this song is and who you're covering. How did you decide to tackle this song to make it different? Because I know the song, so I'm curious to ask.
Well, I'm a blues guitarist.
Okay.
So I had to make it bluesy. And the tough part was because I learned it it's in the key of C minor. I learned it in A minor. And then I switched it to G. And then I switched it to E to get it under my voice in the right way. And so here I am. I'm hearing this song in the key of C minor, and I'm trying to sing it in E. and it was really hard. So I had to practice and practice and practice and practice. And Tracy knows, like when I first started, it was horrifying. But luckily, I practiced it up, and it actually came out decent in the studio. So luckily,
How long have you been practicing that song?
2 weeks. I was
Okay.
playing it all the time, every day, all day.
Okay. Will we possibly see this song out somewhere soon?
There is the danger of that for sure.
Okay. Would you be possibly performing this song at Biketoberfest?
No way.
Dude, I think it'd be great to do that.
No,
man.
I'm gonna get run out if I sing this.
Well, if you have things accompanied on the stage with you, you might
No
be okay.
way. I
Okay.
wouldn't put them in
anyway,
harm's way like
so
that.
I don't want to give away too much here because, like I said, I know what song it is, but I haven't really listened to it. So you guys ready to give? So again, this is a part of the segment that we do where we review the song. And we determine is what makes the song the riff or the rhythm. So it's not about, in this case, it's really good sound quality because you recorded this at Raincat or friends at Raincat Studios.
Raincat Studios, yes, the former guests as well.
And
And sponsors of the event.
that's right, the Riffs and Rhythms event and the sponsor. And but yeah, so we just kind of say what makes that song. Was it the guitar riff that really made that song? Was it the rhythm, or what we've learned that sometimes it's both the rhythm. That's a term we came up with.
Sure.
Okay.
And so we ready without further ado?
Absolutely.
Right.
And this, so you know, this is not premiered yet. This will premiere on YouTube tomorrow night.
Baby, I can see you're calling. A guy like me, you should get a warning. I'm dangerous, you're falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. And once we start, I'll steal your heart. I'm dangerous, you love it.
All seriously, joking aside, I think if you busted this out during Biketoberfest, the chicks that are there would get the song and be totally into it.
Maybe.
All right, well, maybe test it out before you go up to get thrown into the wall of, or the coleslaw pit.
With a taste of my lips, you're on right. On toxic, you're slipping under. Taste of a poison paradise. You're addicted to me, don't you know I'm toxic? And you love what I do, even though I am toxic.
So I'm having a tough time. I like the rhythm of it, but I also like these little licks that you're playing in there for the music. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Definitely rhythm for me.
Yeah, I like that riff, that little hook. I like that riff.
So far we're a little flipped on it. Okay.
With a taste of my lips, you're on right. I'm toxic, you're slipping under. Taste of a poison paradise. You're addicted to me, don't you know I'm toxic? And you love what I do, even though
I liked when you
I'm
slipped into that
toxic.
minor there a moment ago. That was cool. That's cool. See, now I'm sold on the riff.
With a taste of my lips, you're on right. I'm toxic, you're slipping under. Taste of a poison paradise. You're addicted to me, don't you know I'm toxic? And you love what I do.
Who are you looking at there?
Who'd
you give that look to?
Yeah, you love what I do, even though I'm toxic.
Very nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, love it.
So that's it.
Dig it, man. Very, very cool.
So
The Britney Spears with acoustic folk strumming and blues solos in the middle.
So how and why did you come up with that song, to pick?
Well, I wanted to reverse the message
Okay.
and say, look, I'm the toxic one, but you love it.
Okay.
So if you listen to the words, the perspective is from the other direction. And it's like, yeah, I am toxic. What?
Yeah. At home, I do a Celine Dion song.
Titanic version?
No, not that. Something if I was to be your woman and you were to be my man, and I reverse that lyric.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah. I do a lot of those chick songs at home sometimes. I do a Barbra Streisand evergreen.
Oh.
Trying to work on the highs and stuff. Yeah. And then I translate it into frickin' Dio, man.
Yes.
There we go. And that's where the magic happens.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we've got Kevin,
Yes.
riff or rhythm?
I'm going to go with the riff on this one.
All right. Kevin.
I'm going with riff.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you because, well, I guess I could ask
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
It's your song, though. But
There is no rhythm in it. It's got to be the riff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with the riff there. I do like those little licks and the slides and, those changes and so forth. It did have you had a really good cadence, though, too, right, of how you were performing and the strumming patterns. So I think we've talked about this before, that songs that we've reviewed where it's a soloist, sometimes it's hard to kind of say where is there rhythm in a soloist playing the guitar, but we have talked about that many times.
Technically, there must be rhythm, or else it's not music.
Right.
Yes. So
That is the thing that differentiates music from noise, technically, is that it's rhythm. No, music is noise organized into a specific rhythm.
that's a great T-shirt slogan there. Without rhythm, it's just noise.
It's true.
We got to get that.
According to Webster.
The little black kid in the 80s?
Yeah, the little black kid in the 80s. He's the one who said that. He's got this big book with stuff in it, with words in it.
He's got his own dictionary. That's right.
The Urban Dictionary.
Oh, it's too funny. So very cool. So yeah, so that was the first time. So this is twice now you've had a song reviewed, right?
I know. And then
Last time you were on the couch and you had...
I was on the couch, and Freya was here
Right.
giving me a hard time about my song.
No, I dig it, man. It's cool. It's definitely cool.
So, yeah, this is part of the new image upgrade that I've been putting on. I got a whole new photo shoot and 2 more videos. I'm going to be premiering. This one premieres tomorrow night on YouTube, so it's a sneak peek for everybody here. And then a week later, I'm going to do the second one, and then a week later, it's going to premiere. All of them premiere on YouTube a week apart.
Very cool.
Cool, man. Awesome. Cool.
So so let's segue here into, so we've got a segment here called Tales from the Road. Okay. So I know, Kevin, you got a crazy story that's like a Smile Tap story at a gig or something music related that's Tales from the Road.
Is this
right?
being recorded?
No, it's for prosperity purposes.
Okay,
Quality
can we say how every gig I find something Kevin left behind and bring it home with me? I bring it for him. So.
I'll tell a rated R version. I can't tell any X versions. I wouldn't disrespect my wife like that. But I'm on stage jamming, and I'm at the front of the stage. This chick grabs my hips and starts simulating oral on me in front of the whole joint.
Did you ever have that happen to you before?
I've got a guitar in the way. They couldn't if they tried.
Did you doing it wrong then, man?
Right? I start playing like this.
Sometimes I'm glad I have a wall of drums there,
Yeah. And then there's been 6 months ago or something, we had this girl. She was essentially on the stage.
Oh, I know
and
who you're
we have
talking
this
about.
very dear friend Jackie, and she knows I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm married. That's not what I'm out here for. She literally, after warning this girl, she grabbed this girl by the lapels and dragged her out of the club. So first she was on like the subs in front of us. Then her legs were to the side. Then she's facing us on the stage, and I'm standing back.
And she's not being very subtle.
No,
Or very,
she's not.
she's being pretty vulgar and
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
pretty forward with every band member.
Oh.
And I'm not kidding. I remember that. So Jackie became like security and bouncer all in.
Even the
all
bass
in one.
player?
No.
No.
So this is Jax, right?
Yeah, Jax.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yep.
She's the best.
We love her tremendously.
Cool. That's interesting. I don't think we've had a story like that before. Getting You were having your own Me Too movement, huh?
Yeah, I was. Really, I'm not a prude by any means, but it was uncomfortable. Kevin can attest.
Yes,
It was
it
uncomfortable.
was,
Right.
Yeah.
It was a little over the top.
Right.
Very inappropriate.
So, which venue do I need to go to see this?
That's right. Piper's
Oh my
Pub.
god! That place has come up.
I wasn't going to say it, but
Yeah, okay. All right.
Great venue.
that's where it
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
We love playing there.
Yeah, we've talked about it quite with Russ and Dez, right?
Yeah.
Pipers, yeah. So, and we were
I
reminiscing.
haven't been to the new location yet.
Oh, is that right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a rock concert hall for sure.
Cool.
Nice stage, great crew. Everybody, the staff, everybody's wonderful there.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
Shout out to Greg and Maria.
Yeah.
we'd love to have Greg on because I know he's got stories and
Oh, yeah.
and again he's the connections and a lot of the bands that are played there, right?
Yeah.
So we've got so you've got to talk about the upcoming Jupiter Fest, Music Fest, or Community
Jupiter
Fest.
Farms
Yeah.
Music
Yeah,
Festival.
right.
So I was in a band at this point, I'm going to say, let's call it 10 years ago. And they were out of the acreage. I don't know if that's Loxahatchee. Yeah, I think the acreage is Loxahatchee.
For those of you who don't listening know the
Probably.
areas, it's west of West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And they had, I don't even know if they still do, every other month, if I have that correctly, like a Loxahatchee Music Fest. And it was packed, man. Packed. And they brought in a stage, and they had a sound guy, and it was really cool. And I got to play that maybe 3 or 4 times. And they even opened up an hour, I think. Yeah, I think they opened up an hour to open jam. And I'm looking around, I go, I could do this. And so there was a restaurant on Jupiter Farms Road years ago. And I went to the owner. I go, man, I just want to bring people here. I'm going to bring in a stage. I'm going to have bands. And I was already in the community at that point. And bands came out, played for free. I did sound. We brought in a stage. And like 400 or 500 people showed up. And I've been doing that about twice a year, every year since.
Since what year?
About 2012, 2013.
Okay.
And then a bunch of people approached me due to that and said, hey, do you want to be on the Jupiter Farms board with us? Now, there's no HOA in Jupiter Farms,
Right.
but it is a liaison to Palm Beach County. Well, that restaurant has changed hands, and it closed, and it opened, closed. Anyways, they weren't into having 400 people attend the restaurant, so go figure that, but fine. So we went to the county, and we're able to use the Jupiter Farms Park.
Oh, okay.
So we've been doing it there for past few years. And the next one's October 19th, 2024, coming up in a couple weeks. And we got Southern Discomfort, and we got Soul Shine Band, 3 or 4 other bands. So it's like 2 to 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
We just rotate the bands out. BYOB, bring your own blanket, bring your own chairs, booze, whatever you want. I brought in a food truck. I brought in a dessert truck. And there's also a hoedown going on through the Jupiter Farms board. So it's total family friendly.
Very cool.
And it's just something I like to give back and do.
Yeah, it's and there's no right. It doesn't cost anything.
No.
Just show up.
No.
and-
I think that's the best part about music. We've had friends and friends' spouses ill, and we've put on benefits or have performed at benefits, maybe not necessarily hosted them. This past weekend, we did Animal Aid for Justin Bartlett. Totally rewarding, man. I mean, that to me, that's a huge reward of doing what I do.
Right.
Yeah. Not the $5,000 at the end of the night. You're getting $5,000, right?
We get paid.
Oh, no. That's nothing. Forget that.
Forget I said that.
Oops. Yeah, so I love giving back.
Very cool.
But 10 years later, it's not as easy lugging all that crap, and setting up the drums. Well, the stage gets set up, but I bring out my sound system. And
Right.
Not as easy as it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's definitely and that this thing is, Kevin, right? When I saw the Facebook post and about it and reach out to you, and then and we had said let's come on the show, let's talk about it, promote it, and because again that's what we're trying to do is it's all about community, right?
Yeah.
That's why we've over the first start of the podcast was trying to figure out what we were wanting to do, and then I think we finally have landed on. Florida, supporting Florida businesses. And then, with the Riffs and Rhythms Festival, too, is having local businesses, local vendors, local Florida bands only, right?
Yeah.
Original music. And, try to keep it, support, right? It's saying support local, saying it, but
Yeah.
doing it is really where it's at.
Yeah, for me, it's all about loving the community.
Yeah.
Of the hundreds of musicians that I've played with, there's really two guys I don't care for. One guy is a bad dude. The other guy's just also not a nice guy
Okay.
for other reasons than music.
Right.
And it's just all about love. And if you're out there bad-mouthing or trying to up your band to put the next guy down, Angels of War will show up and show you what a real show's about. I'll tell you that. I get bashed on for the tablet. You know what, man? If you sound like me, you can use a tablet. Because I hear what you sound like when you don't use a tablet.
Damn, shots fired.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Take cover.
Yeah, I don't care. I have no problem with the tablet. If it's right in front of you and you're reading it, that's a big problem,
Yeah.
But if you glance at it, where am I at? Where's the lead? What I just need the first 3 words, and I'm off and running on 30% of the songs. Just give me a little kickstart.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm sometimes very mixed by it too, right? But I think to your point, if it's not such a crutch, that it's a teleprompter kind of thing,
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot going on, right? Because I've seen you guys perform. You're all over the place,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of and in my own. So yeah, I could see it as just a kind of a little marker there. And it's right, Kevin. Right, is as a drummer too. Is a lot of drummers. I've always very much only till more later on realizing and seeing the importance of not sheet music, but
Charts.
charts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And this is an interesting little story, kind of an example of this. Earlier this year, I filled in for a band called Candles of the Mass. It was a candle mass doom metal tribute band. And that music was pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Intricate. There was a lot of meter changes, time changes, and things like that. And my good friend Randy Cruiser, who is a lead guitarist in Maiden Steel, is also an amazing drummer. So he was originally going to play that show, but he had to step aside because he realized his sister was getting married that weekend. So he had to step aside, and he calls me. Thank God he wrote some handwritten charts for that. Without those charts, I would have never made it through the first 2 or 3 rehearsals. But eventually I memorized the music. But those charts, the ability to read charts, and sometimes you have to fall back on that stuff and use them.
Right.
But thank God that he did that, or else those first 3 rehearsals would have been totally useless.
Yeah, I mean, I guess is right. Is before some of those things, before iPads and tablets and things like that, I'd venture to know what the quality was, and if they were solely that's all the band was maybe performing and practicing day in and day out and doing, because most bands today, if you're playing a 3-4 hour set, that's a lot of songs, right? Easily what?
Well, that's only the 39 songs for that night. We have another 30.
Right.
Depending on the venue.
Right.
Like if we go to Piper's, we could ramp it up. If we go to Connolly's, a little bit more dance, rock, I'm talking of Angels of War.
Right.
We won't come out with just the one Slayer song or a couple Metallica songs that we do, But when it comes to Piper's, the volume's on 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool. So as we get ready to wrapping up here, so Kevin, we also have another segment here called the MVP of the week. So who's your shout out MVP of the week, right? This is somebody who's music related, maybe got you in, right? Got them into music or.
Oh man. Well, Well, put me on the spot here. Let's.
Do you mean locally or
No, in
professionally,
general. It could be
nationally?
your
Okay.
third grade music teacher or whatever it may be. It could be Kevin, right? It could be your wife or whoever, right? It could be anyone who's got your back.
You know what?
Or,
Since you mentioned my wife, I'm going to shout out to my wife, Danny Fruge, because she supports me wholeheartedly in this crazy thing that I'm still doing, and I'm probably too old to do, but I'm still doing it. And but she totally supports me. She doesn't mind me being gone, and just continuing to try to live this dream.
Right. All right.
And
Very cool.
so I love her, and yeah, can't thank her enough for.
Yeah,
for that.
nice. That's
So,
all right.
Very nice.
Cool. Very cool. So, all right. So I guess so we've got so much more to talk about, guys.
Yeah, we do.
You know what I mean? There's so much more we're going to dive into here. Something about Kevin. Some his activities outside of music. Some of your stuff
Great,
too here
great.
locally as well. Besides the music festival. Do we have them back on?
Yeah, you guys want to come back next week?
We'll come back.
Sure.
That'd be
That'd be here.
awesome.
All right. Very cool.
no problem.
Yes.
So, all right. So before we wrap up here, so again, what do you got coming up here? The time frame here. Mid October time frame. What are you guys looking at here?
October, we're really off. At the end of October 30th, we're playing Sharky's for a Halloween party and my birthday
His
party.
birthday.
Oh, okay.
Dirty Face Kid.
Yep.
Okay.
Then November 19th, I think it is, Angels of War is at Cagney's.
Agnes, that's correct.
So real quick, Angels of War's really been on like a hiatus. We just brought on
Right.
Dave the Beast Spitz.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that
Base.
next week.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. We've had some personnel changes, and we've had a few obstacles over the last year. 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So yeah. We're coming. We're going to be back
Okay.
stronger than
2025
ever.
is going to be big for Angels. Yeah.
Excellent. Very cool. So, all right here. So, sir, what do you got coming on?
Well, this weekend, October 11th, is the very first Rising Star concert featuring me. And just yesterday, or maybe the day before, I realized that I've got a number of ticketed shows coming up in the next couple months. So I'm selling it as the Rising Star Tour, because the first show of the tour is the Rising Star concert in Arcadia, Florida. And then the last show of the tour is back at the same spot in Arcadia, Florida, a month later.
Right.
So information on that is on my website. You can get that where you need to. And I'm really excited. I'm bridging the gap. I'm trying to pull myself out of bars and switch out to doing ticketed shows.
Nice.
And it's a scary switchover because,
Yeah.
I'm not a household name. Right. So
There's a venue in town that sells tickets, and yeah, we don't think that really we would sell tickets, so we just
Right.
stick with the bars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
so-
understand the jump.
it's a big jump, and we'll see what happens. You'll be there. I know you will. So it's going to be a success.
All right, so very cool. So we've got a lot coming on again. Riffs and Rhythms Fest coming up here. Tickets still available. November 23rd, the week before Thanksgiving, too.
Right?
Right, so definitely tickets still available. If you're a sponsor or you want a vendor or you whatever, just come hang out. This is going to be really cool. 9 bands, local bands. Got a band coming from Tampa, Red Calling, metal band. So they're doing.
We got the Bryce Allen Band's going to be
Sound
in.
right?
Nice.
Jupiter local there. And maybe we'll talk in the next episode a little bit about how which bands are doing pretty good with ticket sales here. So we have a little of an incentive we gave all the bands to kind of push ticket sales, and there's a little bit of dangling of the carrot, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Cool.
We'll call it that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that next week here. So very cool. So I'm looking forward to you guys come back next week.
Be happy to.
Got
Thank
so
you.
much more to chat. And you ready here, sir?
I
Wrap
am.
this up here.
Hey, Kev, where can we catch that Toxic video again tomorrow night?
It is going to be on my YouTube channel. Just type in Kevin McLoughlin in YouTube, and while you're there, subscribe.
Cool.
Ding.
And I just
Don't
realized
have a
that
ding. Yeah, we need a ding.
that video was the initial draft. It's got my name spelled wrong, so I got to make sure to put the right one up on YouTube.
So before you actually take a sip, did you show them this bottle here?
Oh, I did not. Have you guys seen this?
No, it's beautiful.
Haven't.
Read the label.
Okay.
They're two old guys. They can't read that
nice.
far.
Yeah, really.
says-
Come on, dude.
This is small batch, and the actual name of this is Good Fucking Bourbon Whiskey.
Like it.
It's some good fucking
Is
bourbon.
that a Florida brand as well?
It's distributed by a Florida company. How
Oh,
about
okay.
that? Yeah.
I get it.
Yes, that's the house of beer, wine,
House-
spirits, and everything else.
Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah. House of Wine, Beer, and Spirits.
Cool.
Yeah. I think you were trying to come up with an acronym there.
They are our liquor sponsor, the beer, wine, and house
right.
spirits place.
And they keep us well stocked here as for the bar here. So we got to
Yes, so if you want to
Couple of
have quality liquor or even good fucking bourbon,
yes.
you've got to go to the house of beer, wine, and spirits.
Wine, beer, and spirits.
Yes.
We'll get it eventually.
Wine,
It's
beer,
a-
and spirits? What?
Wine. Well,
It's
that's how they
supposed to be
started.
beer and
That's-
wine.
That's how they started. Maybe we'll have.
There's
Mark-
no such thing as a wine and beer license. It's a beer and wine license.
Okay, you start. Anyway, guys, we'll take this outside after the show here.
But that's why they're memorable, because they don't have beer and wine. They've got wine and beer.
There you go. And then they
And-
added spirits.
And spirits, yes.
Spirits,
All right, there
yes.
we go.
All right. Anyway, so this is the Riffs and Rhythm podcast. Cheers. Thanks for joining. I am Paul Robertson, and this guy is.
I am Kevin McLoughlin.
And cheers, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for